Alright, listen up, yeah. This is not another like 5 tips to rank up bullshit videos. You've seen that crap 100 times. I'm done with that. You're done with that. This is different. This is deeper. Much, much fucking deeper. Right? This is the game changer you've been waiting for. Because, let me ask you this, right? Do you ever feel like stagnated and stuck? Or maybe it's like you've hit a fucking wall in your rank or in life in general. And no matter how hard you push, nothing changes. I've been there. Literally a few months ago, I felt exactly the same. But I didn't tell anyone about it because I thought I'm supposed to be this perfect YouTuber who doesn't have any fucking flaws. I thought I'm supposed to be fucking God, but I'm not. I'm just a human being, just like everyone else, and I make mistakes too, you know. I was slightly above average in terms of elo, but I was stuck and I kept dropping in elo all the way down to 1900. My income plateaued, my views dropped, my mental broke, and everything just went to shit out of nowhere. But I didn't fucking quit. I found a way to break through and get my shit together, right? Not just in game, but in everything. And that's what I'm here to fucking show you, alright? Because today, I'm gonna be revealing my exact plan to go pro in this game, right? Not just getting a little bit better, not just getting diamond, but becoming one of the fucking best in the whole region. Maybe even in the world, who knows? I know these steps work because I've seen it work for myself and I've seen it work for countless others who just felt exactly like you do right now. Maybe stuck, maybe frustrated, maybe doubting yourself, and we made it through, okay? And now I'm gonna help you do the same. So let's stop the fucking talk here and actually get started, okay? This is going to be part 1, which is understanding. Okay, I'm gonna give a very big disclaimer here. This video isn't about like Brawlhalla tips and tricks, right? In fact, it's not about Brawlhalla or video games at all. This video is gonna teach you how to turn a goal into a reality, right? We're gonna be discussing fucking philosophy and psychology more than how to input a fucking dash jump, okay? But don't worry, yeah, I'll keep it very simple and easy to understand so that you don't get bored and like leave the video, you know. However, if you're gonna leave, just understand that this is literally the separator between the people who are serious about making it and the others who are just looking for stimulation, okay? So now let's actually get started. There are 2 mental models we're gonna be discussing throughout this video, and I'm gonna use them in future videos as well, so I want you to understand what they are. The first one is called first principle, okay? And the second one is called cause and effect. Don't worry if you've never heard about them. Like I said, I'll keep everything very clear and simple. And like, not everyone knows about this shit, okay? But those who do will have a disgusting advantage in game and in life as well. So it's very simple, right? First principle is basically breaking a problem or an idea down to its most basic fundamental truth that cannot be further questioned, okay? So for example, you pick something and then you question every single assumption you have about it until you reach the core element that are undeniably true, okay? And then from there you reconstruct your whole understanding, or like you build new solutions based on these fundamental facts, right? These fundamental truths, right? So you can see how he managed to get a ridiculous amount of efficiency out of this system just by thinking differently using this mental model, right? And we're gonna be using first principle in this video and in future videos as well to achieve similar results, okay? And the opposite of this, of like first principle, the opposite is reasoning from analogy. Basically, it's like thinking subjectively and coming up to conclusions based on personal feelings, personal experiences, or like opinions, you know, rather than thinking objectively based on facts using first principle, okay? So the perfect example to this is like when someone says this weapon is broken and they start raging, right? And then you ask them, well, why is that weapon broken? And they say, well, because it's fucking broken. It's broken, bro. It's just broken. Look, I'm losing every single game. Like, why? It's just broken. It's too good, bro. It catches every dodge. Blah, 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 blah. It's so dumb. It's so easy to play. This is reasoning from analogy and thinking from like personal experiences and opinions, okay? The second mental model we have here is called cause and effect. It's also very simple. This is an objective universal law, right, that will remain unchanged regardless of people's opinions as well. which is the law of cause and effect. And this states, basically it states that every effect, event, or outcome, okay, has a specific cause or series of causes, okay? Nothing happens without a reason, and for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. There's no randomness, there's no luck, there's nothing. Everything happens with a reason, okay? Now, when it comes to setting and achieving goals, okay, there's one mistake that 99% of people make that holds them from improving or actually turning the goal into a reality, right? And you could literally be making it right now. So we're gonna use these two mental models to have a better understanding of what makes an event take place, because that's ultimately what a goal is, right? A goal is just an event taking place in the future. So let's take a look at the chain of actions and reaction that makes up the whole final event, okay? That makes up any event, in fact, not just one event, right? And it looks something like this, okay? Just a quick note, as I'm editing this video, I've just realized that it really took so long to explain this shit. Now, as you go through this, you're probably gonna have so many thoughts of like, what the fuck is this guy saying? What is he yapping about? What does that even mean? What is this, etc.? Why am I watching this? You're probably gonna have those thoughts. All I'm gonna say is like, just keep watching and everything will make sense, okay? Just keep watching through, and as you progress through the video, everything will make sense later on, okay? I see it. Okay? So imagine this. You have your final event all the way at the top. So this could be, for example, you winning a tournament. This could be, for example, you hitting diamond, hitting Brawlhalla. It doesn't matter. This could be like your situation right now. This could be like your life or the experience that you're having right now, okay? Your life right now, okay? It can be, basically, it can be in any point in time, in the future, in the past, whatever. It's just like an event or experience, okay? And your life or your experiences is the sum of all the actions that you've ever taken, okay? So your event is caused by all of the actions that you've ever taken before, okay? And all of the actions that you've ever taken is the sum of all of the decisions that you've ever made, because you can't really, how are you gonna like take action on something if you didn't decide to take the action, right? So you decide to take the action, and then the action take place, right? And then an event happen, okay? So this is not just conscious decisions. This could be like subconscious decisions as well. It can be like, for example, the way you talk, the way you move, the way you think. Most of that is on the subconscious side, you know, but it's still a decision. And all of the decisions that you've ever made is like the sum of all the options that you've ever perceived to have. So the only way for you to make a decision is to choose between two different options, you know. If you think an option is not within your reach, then you're not gonna pick it, you know. Or even worse, you don't even know about the option in the first place. So it's only about the options that you know about and that you perceive to have, okay? And all of these are just thoughts that you've ever had, okay? So an option is simply just a thought that you've had before, you know? You can't really know that you have an option if you don't think about it, you know what I mean? It's just a thought at the end of the day. Now, where does thoughts come from? All of your thoughts comes from how you perceive what you're thinking about, okay? Just stay with me here. How you think about something is determined by how you perceive that thing to be. Let me give you an example if that doesn't make sense. Let's say you perceive a specific car model to be ugly, right? You see a car model and the first thing you perceive that car to be ugly, okay? The way you look at it from a disgusted point of view, okay? All of the thoughts will be about literally like how ugly the car is, because that's how you perceived it to be in the first place, okay? And the way you perceive what you're thinking about comes from your paradigm, okay? I'm gonna explain what a paradigm is. Your paradigm is basically the way you see the world, okay? It's basically how you perceive things to be, how you look at things, you know, how you think about things. So if I show you a couple of images, right, you will think about them and perceive them from different perspective than someone else, okay? So I'm gonna show you some images here, okay? And I want you to notice the thought that pops into your mind. Just be very present and actually observe the thoughts that come into your head, okay? About each and every single image I show you here, all right? So the first image we have here is an obese random woman, Sam Sulek. A random fat hairy guy smoking a cigarette. Transgender flag. Conor McGregor. A dude using a anime girl profile picture on Discord. Andrew Tate. So do you see how you had like different opinions about the images, right? You've had you see all of the thoughts that you've just had about these pictures, right? All of those thoughts came from your paradigm, right? And you have sub paradigms about each and every single thing that you've ever encountered in your whole life. Okay, you've got a paradigm about cars, you've got one about health, one about gaming, one about school, etc. All right, and let me actually give you a clear example of how can this apply to our daily lives, right? Because it's cool and also about to know about this shit, but does it actually matter? Okay, so I'm gonna let's use like the same exact like car model example. Okay, let's say we have two different people about two different paradigms. Okay, the first person perceives the car to be ugly, so his paradigm looking at the car, right, and he thinks to himself, this car is ugly, right? And the other person perceive it to be okay. He perceived the car to be alright, right? What's gonna happen, they will produce thoughts, okay, related to their perception. So if the perception is ugliness, the thoughts that will be produced are going to be related to ugliness. So for example, the first person will think to himself, well, yeah, the colors doesn't match, it's too fat. He's gonna have like those kind of thoughts. And the second person, okay, he's going to have different thoughts. He's gonna have like, for example, if the perception is this car is okay, it doesn't matter to me, the thoughts that will be produced afterwards will be like, well, if it does get me from point A to point B, it doesn't matter. I don't even have a girlfriend, so it doesn't matter if my car is ugly. I mean, it gets the job done, so I guess I'll get it. Those are the thoughts that will be produced for the second person, okay? And then they will perceive to have different options. They will think that they have an option, right? So the first person, the only option he's gonna see is walk home without buying the car. That's the only option that he's gonna perceive. Why? Because the only thoughts that were produced were about ugliness, right? So if he thinks the car is ugly, the option of buying the car is not going to be produced, because you don't buy ugly stuff, you don't buy things that are not helpful, right? So the option of buying the car is not even going to come into his mind, you know? He's only gonna have the option of, no, I'm not buying this shit, it's too bad, you know? Whilst the second person will have more options to choose from, right? He will have the option of just buying the car and the option of going home without buying the car, okay? Because he doesn't care about the beauty or the ugliness of the car, you know? And then they will make different decisions based on the options that they can see or they can perceive, you know? So, for example, the first person, because he only see one option, he will make one decision, which is not buying the car. So he will choose the decision in his mind, okay, I'm not really gonna do it, okay? That's the decision he's gonna make. The second guy, however, have more choices. So the second guy is gonna choose between either doing it or not doing it. So let's say, for example, he actually buys the car because he want a car and he need one, you know? He need to move from different places. So he actually make the decision to buy the car. And now they will take different actions because of the different decisions they've made, right? So both of them chose different decisions, and now they're gonna choose different actions, okay? So the action here, for example, for the first guy, is him physically walking home, right? And not buying the car, right? And the second guy, he's gonna take the action of physically pulling out his card, doing the checkout, giving the code, etc., and actually buying the car, right? Two different actions, physical actions, right? And now the experience that they're having is a completely different, right? They're going to be living two different realities, two different experiences because of their paradigm. Okay, the real world, right, and reality is nothing but what you think about. Okay, they are both having two different experiences because they thought and they had different paradigms. They were thinking differently in different ways, you know. This is why they are having two different experiences. Does this make sense? I hope this is making sense, because if you can understand this concept, holy shit, you're gonna make some crazy changes. Alright, but now you may be asking me, but what the fuck does any of this have to do with going pro or esports or Brawlhalla in general, right? So if you've come this far, you're already one step ahead of pretty much everyone else who gave up halfway, okay? So don't let this knowledge go to waste by missing out on what comes next, okay? So to answer your question, remember what I told you earlier about how a goal is an effect, right? The goal is the final event. It's the reality. It's the final reality that we want to have, okay? And the final experience that we want is at the top of this chain. It's all the way up here, okay? This is the equivalent of like the two people earlier, one of them like driving his car and the other one is like taking a bus, you know? It's two different realities. So the reality that we want to have, which is like, let's say, winning a tournament or going pro or being considered as a pro player, is completely at the top of this chain, okay? And we can't really identify all of this, all of the actions and reactions at the bottom, if we don't even know what the goal is to begin with. If you don't know the reality that you want, you're not gonna be able to identify its causes, right? So what is the goal? Before you do anything, you need to ask this question: what do you want? What kind of experience you want to have in the future? You need to identify it and understand it, okay? Most people are just reacting to life. Life to them is like, for the majority of people, it's like randomness, you know? They play the game, they go to school, they win, they lose, and they just react to that shit. They don't act, they don't take action, you know? Everything is just chaos. And a goal, what a goal does is basically it gets rid of all of that chaos and gives you order and direction. It gives you like, okay, this is the reality we want, this is what we need to do, take action on it. That's what a goal does. It puts direction, you know? So for me, the goal is becoming a pro Brawlhalla player, right? That's the goal. I've already identified my goal. You need to do the same, okay? You need to ask yourself, alright? And don't set any limitation here. Don't have any fucking small dick ambitions, right? Actually, like, really think about what do you really want, you know? And set the goal, set the direction, okay? However, setting the goal is nice, right? It's better than doing nothing, but it's nowhere near enough. We have to break this shit down, because setting the goal is never enough, alright? And to do that, we're gonna be using first principle, okay? So, what is a pro player? What does that even mean, right? Well, a pro player is someone who's really good at the game. What is that? What does that even mean? Let's break it down, okay? So, someone, it's a human, right? What is a human? A human is a combination of like the mind, conscious and subconscious, plus the body, right? Which is the physical structure that supports life, plus energy. You need energy to move the body and the mind, right? Which is the vital force that powers both the body and the mind, right? Good at. What is good? What is someone that is good? It's someone who have a lot of knowledge, both quality and quantity, okay? So you need good knowledge and a lot of it, right? Plus mechanical skill. So mechanical skill is basically like how well can you execute that knowledge. So you need good knowledge and you need to execute on that knowledge. And I would say, like, in this context of Brawlhalla, PR10 is the determinator for me of like being a good player. I would say PR10 is like officially like a good player, you know, for me at least. And then the game, someone who's good at the game. What is the game? It's Brawlhalla. What is that? What the fuck is Brawlhalla, you know? Well, it's a competitive fighting game, right? What is competitiveness? It's fighting for superiority or survival. What is fighting? Fighting, it's a conflict for control between two forces or more. What is a game? It's a structured challenge with rules, goals, and participants, right? So these are all the required elements, okay, that makes up the goal of going pro. Just like how Elon Musk broke down a battery, it's made of like copper, nickel, etc. We're breaking down the goal to its most core fundamentals. Like, we're identifying the variables, you know. Now we can take this a step further, where we do a full first principle breakdown to each and every single one of these elements to take our knowledge to the next level, right? But I'm not gonna do that in this video, otherwise it would be too fucking long, right? So I'm not gonna do it here. I can make another video about it if you want, where like I break this shit down, you know. Tell me in the comment if you want that. Now here's the important thing: you need all of these variables. You need every single one of them, okay? It's like an equation. So you see in math, yeah, in math, if you have like 5 and you want to get to 7, right, you need 2. You need to add 2. If you take off 1, you will end up with a different outcome, which is 6, okay? You need every single variable here. It's the same thing here, right? You know, this is literally the case of a lot of players, right? I can give you an example, like for example, like Woodkid, you know. I don't know if some of you may be familiar with this guy. He's a really good player. He got everything in place. He got everything checked. But because he's missing one variable, which is competition, you know, I was watching like some of his videos, and he said that he get tournament nerves, you know, like some people will call this like the fucking tournament curse, you know. He's missing one variable, right? And so because of that, he can never win in tournaments. He will never top 8 or place in tournaments unless he make a change to the inputs, unless he make a change to the variables that he have, okay? So it's literally an equation. It is very simple. There's no fucking magic here, because you see, like, if you take the variables that our pro players have put in and you make the slightest smallest change, the whole thing is fucked. The whole thing is changed, and you will not get the same result. It's exactly just like in math, you know. There's no fucking magic here. How can you, like, people be expecting to have one output from 2 different inputs? Imagine that. Imagine having one pizza from 2 different recipes. Is that possible? No, it doesn't exist. Literally, imagine you and a friend of yours tries cooking, yeah? You both cook using 2 different ingredients and you both have the exact same pizza. Is that gonna work? No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that, right? It's garbage in, garbage out. There is no fucking magic here. There's no fucking talent. It's all just cause and effect. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Every output has its own input. There's no such thing as like fucking luck or talent. It doesn't fucking exist, right? So right here, you have the choice. You could keep doing the same things like everyone else, or just like how you've been doing it all this time, and get the same result that you have right now. You can keep getting the same result, stay stuck, right? Or you could try something radically different and finally start seeing actual progress, okay? But what is that you need to do? What is it? What is the change that you need to make? Let me explain. So far, we have the reality that we want, okay? We know the variables needed for that reality to take place. Now, all we need is the right paradigm and the right worldview, okay? I want to explain how does a paradigm form, alright? So remember what we did earlier when I showed you like the images, okay? When I showed you like images, and then you had like different thoughts and different opinions about the images, right? So that was your paradigm, okay? That was your paradigm. And that also comes from somewhere, you know? A paradigm, it's also an effect. Just like anything else, a paradigm doesn't just randomly comes into you. You weren't born with your paradigm. You weren't born with the hate or love towards Conor McGregor. It was formed over time, okay? It was created. But how does a paradigm form, and where does it actually come from, you know? There are only a few answers to this question, to be honest, okay? It can be, first of all, it can be like through childhood, right? So for example, maybe when you were a kid, you did boxing, okay? Or maybe you didn't. It can be through experiences, right? So maybe you've had a recommendation in YouTube that explains how, like a video, you know, explaining how Conor McGregor is a genius, or maybe another video that explains how Conor McGregor is an egotistical loser who lost to Khabib, you know. It can maybe be through parents, because you know, as humans we tend to copy our parents. So when you were young, maybe your mother told you that boxing is dangerous and you should never get involved with it. Or maybe your father taught you how to fight, or maybe your father watches Conor McGregor, you know, and so you started watching it as well. And the last thing, the last way that a paradigm forms is through something called beliefs confirmation bias. We as humans, right, we tend to believe, if you believe something, right, we tend to seek information that supports your beliefs, okay? So if you believe he's a bad person, you will automatically seek information to prove your belief. And if you believe he's a good person, or like a smart person, right, you will seek out the information that supports your beliefs, okay? So that's mostly how a paradigm is formed, okay? Now, remember what I explained earlier, how your paradigm shapes the experience that you will have, right? Or it's already shaped the experience you're having right now. So the reality you're living right now is nothing but a result of your paradigm, okay? Does this make sense? Is everything making sense? If it's not making sense, go ahead and re-watch the fucking video so that you can understand what I'm talking about here, because this is some crazy shit, right? Now, here is the best part about all of this. Your paradigm is adjustable and changeable, okay? And you have full control over it. So, if we adjust the paradigm that we currently have to a new one, our reality and the life that we're gonna have in the future will automatically change by default, because reality and experiences are nothing but what we think about. Remember what I explained? Now, all you need to do is literally just identify and adopt the right paradigm that matches the reality that you want, you know? So you think about, what is the required paradigm for the reality that I want to live in the future? And you simply do that by finding the people who have the right paradigm that you want, okay? So in this case, it's the people who have already lived that reality that you want, which is in this case pro players. For my goal, right, for my goal, which is going pro, all I have to do is literally adopt their way of thinking, adopt their paradigm. Every single thing, every single way of thinking they have, I need to have the same thing. If it's slightly different, just like how I explained with like Woodkid, if there is the slightest change, I'm not gonna get the same results, you know? I have to adopt the exact same variables that they have put in, and I will get the exact same results. It's exactly just like copying a recipe from a YouTube video on how to make a pizza. Imagine literally watching a YouTube video, right, that has a recipe, and you copy every single bit about it, right? If you do the same inputs, you will end up with the same output. It's not fucking magic. So from this point on, that's literally all I have to do. That's literally all I have to do. Well, obviously, I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that it's gonna be short. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen in a fucking month. It's gonna take time, you know? It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take hard work, obviously, and taking action, because like, it starts from the thoughts, but then you have to act on the thoughts, and then you have to adjust the beliefs and make changes, etc., right? I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but I'm saying there is hope. That's what I'm saying. There is hope, you know? If you understand it this way, you can actually make a change, you know? So that's my theory right there on why I can actually pull this off, or why anyone can do it, in fact. But not everyone will. Not everyone will do it. It's like, right? Everyone can, but not everyone will, you know? You just need to give it time. Because here's the thing, right? The only separator between your paradigm and your thoughts and reality, right? There's one separator between thoughts and reality. That separator is time. You have to give it time, all right? And yeah, man, holy shit. I think, yo, this is crazy. So, since you're watching this, I already know that you're committed to improving, right? So, I want to make sure that you actually get something for your commitment here, all right? And that's why I left this bonus hidden at the end of the video. So don't tell anyone about this, okay? Because very few people will reach this point of the video. Literally, I promise you, literally like 95% of people have already clicked off by this point. So you're a special one for sticking out all the way till the end. So in the video description below, if you scroll all the way at the bottom under the keywords, okay, there will be a link to a form that you can fill up, okay? This form basically helped me understand my viewers more, which means I will be able to produce better content that is actually helpful for you, alright? And if you do that, I will literally coach you for free, alright? I will give you like 30 minutes or 1 hour of completely free coaching. I'm not gonna sell you any shit, right? I'm not selling any programs so far, okay? I'm gonna give it completely for free, and depending on how much I have, right? So it's either 30 minutes or 1 hour, alright? We're gonna see. And maybe we can get you like your goals. Maybe you can get you to diamond, maybe 2100 or 2200, okay? I guarantee you I can help you reach that. I've already done it for so many people, okay? So if you don't find the link, or if it doesn't work anymore, that means the offer is over, or like this video is like way too old, you know? So I'm sorry to all the future viewers. I probably have some shit set up in the future, so you're probably gonna find something anyway. All right, take care, bro. Have a good one. Bye bye.